Today, ready for a football. It's a football Friday, Tommy.
It's my
and
birthday.
More importantly, it's
Boom.
your birthday.
Dude, when I was a little kid, I thought 50-year-old men were like old geezers, and I'm still chasing 20-year-olds.
Look at this physical. Look at this physical specimen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best. I've been better.
I thought you were 60, right?
See, that's the kind of harassment I get here. Oh.
Well, we're gonna have the.
It's gonna be good time tonight at Duffy's for sure on 57th Ave.
That is awesome.
I'm
going to Facebook Live. Anyone have any questions for the prognosticator for tomorrow for the games this weekend? It's very interesting. In not to bring sports into the political world, but it seems like the cases are through the roof. Sports is hanging by a thread right now.
Yeah.
With the COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cancellation after cancellation, and one of the things I was going to talk about, I might as well talk about it now, is Liberty University had so many cases that game got changed, which I've never ever heard of that happening before. Now it's BYU versus Coastal Carolina, 2-9-0 powerhouses, like mid-major powerhouses, going at it, and we're gonna have to talk about that. I don't understand the line at 10. That just seems arbitrary to me.
Let's go right in. So we'll talk about that. And it's interesting because I was thinking about, what we're learning through the pandemic. And there was kind of a cool story coming out of BYU that when that game, they were talking about how the flexibility, and a lot of the BYU players are wearing these shirts that say, like, we'll play anyone, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And, and when this possibility came up, there was word that Liberty was struggling with the COVID cases. And BYU loaded the equipment truck and sent it before anything had happened.
Any
the idea being,
were made by the NCAA.
we have a day window, 24 hours
to get.
We can tell them to turn back around,
right?
But they sent it just in case because they could not have made it in time. So
you would think Mitt Romney would just put them on a jet, fly them on a jet like the Rolling Stones or something.
Right? So talk to me.
So let's quickly review last week because it wasn't that bad. And then it might have been better if that West Virginia game would have come off, but last minute it got postponed because of COVID. And then that was my dog of the week. But I want to
back up. So let's do Thursday's games.
Yeah, we did. We did that on Friday. We did those last
Right.
Friday.
But I want to do it. But I want to say something that was interesting is I went to a party. I went to a party with good friends of ours. But they didn't have, like, I'm seeing this more and more often. Like, they didn't have local TV, right? They didn't have the setup. We can watch European soccer, but we can't watch Fox and CBS.
Right.
I couldn't watch the games. And it's like, whatever, it's a holiday. I get to watch lots of football. And I felt every once in a while I'd glance at my phone. It's like, I'm glad I'm not watching. This is terrible football.
Right.
Are you noticing like a lack of parity in the NFL? Like, there's a lot of stinker games we're seeing. Those were two stinker games.
There are a lot of stinker teams. I mean, look at the NFC East, for example. The Washington Football Club, and I'm finally getting used to that. I think they're leading the division.
Yeah. And
they've only won like 5 games.
Yeah.
It's December.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's terrible. And I was thinking about it the other day, the Chicago Bears, and someone was saying, like, someone commented on Twitter, like, this may be the worst football game I've ever seen. And somebody commented, like, this is what the Bears always look like. But I don't think it's the case. I think the quality of play seems to be lower.
Right.
Just from a total fan
But you still have those
perspective.
teams like the Chiefs that always turn out awesome games.
But that's where I'm going with this is like, is there a lack of parity, right? I mean, is there, it seems like it's like the haves and the have-nots. It's like, that's what we have in college, right? Like, is there something going on in the NFL where it seems like, you get the right coach, you get the right young quarterback, and you're light years ahead of the next team, right? That has mediocre coaching and a not great quarterback.
Yeah.
It seems to be the model we're seeing.
Right. Well, I mean, besides the Chiefs, I mean, there are other teams just like that that are doing this, a similar.
Well, the Rams.
A similar pattern.
The Rams.
Yeah. And look at that conference. I mean, Seattle, too.
Yes,
but
Seattle.
Seattle's there, too. So, but that's the same. They've had that coach for a while. He was with them when they won the Super Bowl. And Russell Wilson's been there for a while. He's a franchise quarterback. He's never going to go anywhere else. But yeah, you have a bunch of guys, a little small pack at the top, and then the rest of just squandering.
I'll leave this for a second, but one of the things I think about is how limited, like everyone's running kind of the same fundamental offenses or whatever. And I wonder if there's going to come a point where a coach is going to come along and say, like, unless I have a Mahomes, unless I have a Tua, which we'll get to whether that's the case, right. Unless I have one of those quarterbacks, I'm going to go back to running a wishbone, or I'm going to go back to running, because it's just like we don't seem to have the quarterbacks right now.
Right.
Enough of these quarterbacks to run these high power offenses.
Or you got good quarterbacks that are on bad teams, like Deshaun Watson. He's on a bad team. Yeah. Like Jason Herbert. He's on a bad team. But if you put that guy in a scheme with an awesome coach, an awesome offensive line, and position players that can support him, then he throws for 400 yards a game.
Yeah.
Look at Deshaun on Thanksgiving. That was like high school backyard kids in, sandlot football kind of plays.
I always say those teams look like they met in the parking lot for the first time before the game.
That's it.
Except
they were wearing like $5,000 suits. That's the only difference. But at the end of the day, for last week, for week 13, I ended up 4-3. That takes me another game above 500. I'm right around 64% so far since we've been tracking it for the season. So I'm pleased with that, but I know it can be better. And so I got to flip the board around, because this week I think I'm going to knock it out of the park.
Wait, before we do it, so you one of the games I watched because of you was the Central Michigan,
Chips.
Eastern Michigan. I got to say something. First of all,
though, it was an 8-point win.
I got to say something. I turned on that TV. I had a couple over with kids were playing together, and that field, the way it pops, that kind of weird gray, it looks almost like an enhanced video, right?
Right.
The grayish field with the uniforms popping with the color.
Pretty cool.
It's really cool how it looks on TV.
Right. It looks like an old World War II movie that they repainted.
Yeah, that the uniforms are painted. It's kind of cool looking.
Right. Pretty awesome. So got to flip it around and see what we got for this week, because I know there's somebody lurking around in the studio that's going to have trash to talk about it.
Mr. Accountability. Right. Mr. Accountability.
Oh, here we go. These are big games too.
Wow. I forgot about the A&M game.
Yeah, and I even here I am back again. Even came back with a little Miami U of M play. Yes. They've been out of
8 p.m. Saturday night. That's a big game.
They haven't been on the field in a while in a live game situation. So I'm just going to start off from the top, and then I know you want to talk about the Texas game. I'm going to start off with the dog of the week. I love Boston College at Virginia. That line opened at -8. It's -4 now. I think they win that game outright. BC.
I agree.
They're just stout.
Why? What's wrong with that? Why do they think Virginia's?
It opened at -8. Now it's -4.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Then I went out to Pac-12 play. Stanford at Washington. That line opened at 10. It's now 11.5. That's let's see what time that is. That's a 4:00 afternoon game.
I like those after dark, Pack after dark, but keep going.
Yeah. All right. I might throw one in here. I'll tell you a team that was good to me last week, and I think they're going to be good to me again, is Wyoming. That's 425, 426 against the Lobos. So that line opened at 2 touchdown spread. Now it's 17.5. I love Wyoming again. They won by 3 touchdowns last time. They shouldn't have any problem with the Lobos. Let's flip it over. Let's talk about for the UM game. I don't like the line on that. It seems too much for me.
What is the line?
10.
Miami's favorite.
It opened at 10.5. Now it's 14.5.
Miami's a 2 touchdown favorite.
All the money's on Miami, but Duke scares me. Every once in a while they come up with a big game.
I want to total. And Andy, I want you to listen to this. So my friend John Kearns doesn't bet on games, but he's always had this theory, and I found it very intriguing. And his theory is, the line is made so it's a 50-50 split, and he's like, inherent in that is when you have a game like that, you have Miami versus Duke. He's like, you got to look at how many Miami fans are pumping money into that game, right? As compared to Duke fans. So he feels like there's the line is off because you have
artificially inflated based on the number of Miami fans that are going to bet
Exactly.
over the number of intelligent Duke fans that are not going to bet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I wonder how that plays into. I got to tell you something. I don't bet, and I am a Canes fan, and I don't think Miami covers for 2 touchdowns. What do you think, Andy?
Yes, they cover 2 touchdowns.
All right.
Says
the Gator fan.
Yeah, what I liked in that was the over 60. So that opened at 44.5 and went up 16 points. It's going to be way over.
Seems like a no-brainer.
I just don't know how. I want to see how they come out in that first quarter after being off for so long.
There's going to be like 5 illegal procedure penalties,
tons of
illegal substitution. It's going to be
tons of penalties. And then I got 2 more. I've got A&M laying the 6.5 against Auburn. Auburn looked terrible last week. A&M is pretty stout. That opened at 4. Now it's 6.5.
Now,
Any more than 6.5, I wouldn't touch it. But
one thing about A&M that's is their offense always looks terrible. Mond always looks terrible. What is the over on that game?
It's terrible. It's opened at 56.5. Now it's 48.5. So it's dropped 8 points since the open.
Interesting.
Yeah. So everybody's betting under.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, I think that's an under game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one that we talked about for a minute at the beginning is that BYU Coastal Carolina. I don't know enough. I haven't watched other than highlights any BYU games. However, I have watched the Chanticleers a couple of times, and I like them. But I think this is one of those games where this is a team in a small, super small conference. BYU has been there in big games. That program has been there. This is their chance for the boys from Myrtle Beach to do something awesome and get some real national. I'm going to take the 10. I'm going to take the 10 against BYU.
I think BYU is going to cover that one. It's going to be interesting. And I'm the opposite of you. I watched a lot of BYU football this year.
There he is.
Not a lot. Oh man, here comes Mr. Accountability.
The creeper.
Are people actually taking your opinion and making these crappy bets? I mean,
nobody's like egged my house or anything.
You missed the best games of the week. First off, I looked at this when you told me you were doing this today. How could you not pick the Notre Dame Rutgers 52-point over?
Woo!
That is a lock. Here's another one.
Led by lock.
A Corge lock.
Here's another one.
The K lock.
Texas Tech played Texas. You know what the score of that game was? 63-56. They're playing Kansas this week, and the over 62.5. How could you not? That is a lock.
I think Les Miles still has
you gotta
COVID.
like that. You gotta like that.
That's a lock. Here, I'm going to give you another one. How do you like this?
He's an over-under guy now.
Iowa State 6 points.
Okay.
Just 6 points.
You need to be writing this down.
No, wait. He's talking about the Mountaineers now, so I got my ears are perking up a little bit.
My ears, but I like Iowa State giving 6.5 to West Virginia. They're going to trounce West Virginia.
Ooh,
Colorado.
It is in Iowa
pick.
State.
Texas A&M, good pick. How about this one? Western Kentucky plays North Carolina and is getting 50 points. You guys didn't recommend to these people take 50
these
points
people.
in Western.
I think it's gone down to 46.5
people
now.
are losing money by the second with you guys.
What's
here.
the opposite of a lock? What would be a Corge unlock?
A dog of the week.
Jailbreak.
Finally,
It'd be the jailbreak, as we call it.
Finally, Florida at Tennessee.
Oh boy.
Florida's a 17.5-point favorite. The Gators have got to win.
Let me guess.
Got to win big. You know how you spell citrus? UT. You can't spell citrus without UT. Florida's going to trounce on
100-0. Andy's calling that one 100-0.
100-0.
Dang.
So listen, people out there, anyone watching might be watching this before Saturday, Sunday. Think twice before you take all these recommendations. I implore you.
I love
lose your money.
The best part of Corge's recommendations is like there's no accountability. He just comes in each week. It's like I hit 100, right? He just rails off all these lunatic picks.
I got all of them.
I got all of them.
Listen, do you guys? By the way, do you guys have this show sponsored by a bookie yet?
No.
I know he has at least 10 or 12. He knows.
A Russian,
yeah.
a Russian
offshore.
offshore.
We should get like a legitimate one, like Bovada or some real, like Bet365 or something.
Offshore gaming. Something.
So let me take us back. I do want to hear your perspective on this. This Texas situation is very interesting. Tom Herman. I'm trying to think of a more fall from grace. Tom Herman came in from Houston as the coach. The Texas AD had to feel good. He got the coach to got him, and he's been a disaster.
Oh yeah, a disaster.
So they're saying Urban Meyer may go to Texas, which is crazy to think about.
I'm gonna throw up.
To leave Ohio State, go to Texas, probably become the highest paid coach
of all time,
and unlimited resources. The whole thing. Now, that game, the rumor is if they lose to K-State, he's going to be fired on Sunday. What's going to happen? Can Texas beat K-State?
Well, I mean, they're a 7-point favorite, and the line hadn't moved at all.
Really?
What has moved is the over-under. Opened at 54, now it's down to 51. So,
yeah, but you know what? When my experience, when they start talking about things like this, it happens. And Tom Herman, whether he wins or loses this week, Urban Meyer is a game changer. As much as I dislike as a Gator and the way he left the Florida Gators, he was sick. Right? We know that's all a bunch of baloney, right? He ended up in Ohio State a year later. So, he is a game changer. And
is there
talent in Texas?
Yeah.
He wins a championship.
Is there anyone who's more of a game changer? Like I think about Jimbo Fisher, right? Jimbo Fisher won at Florida State, but he won with many people argue one of the best college quarterbacks ever.
Right.
Right. And it was a one-off. Here you have Urban's just won in a lot of different environments, right? He's shown it over and over again. He can go and turn a program around. Is there anyone else that would be more sought after right now to turn your program? If you were the AD of Texas.
I mean, I can't imagine on the college level, who else would it be? And it's not like you have to, pay off another school or something to get Urban Meyer. He's not under contract with any university. He's sitting there commenting on Saturdays about, the games that are being played. So he's got to be on the top of any program's list. But when you've coached at Florida and Ohio State, you're not coming back to coach Rutgers or Temple, right?
Yeah.
So it would be a school like Texas. Like a Texas.
And Texas, I find it's like going to coach at Florida State. Like is coaching at Florida State as attractive as an SEC school? Maybe not from a football perspective, but your path under the current system to a national championship is easier. And Texas is the same way, right? I mean, go for sure. Your path is much easier at Texas than it is at an SEC school right now.
No question.
Absolutely.
No question. Well, look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M right now.
Yeah. They're
really they have no control of their own destiny.
Yeah.
Florida's going to come out of the East, it looks like. Alabama's already lost to Alabama.
Yeah. And either way it goes,
right.
A&M's going to be,
Yeah, because if Florida and Alabama meet in the SEC championship, and by chance Florida, which I don't think they would beat Alabama, they're just going to end up jumping over Texas.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're out.
A&M's Sugar Bowl bound.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
No question.
That's it.
But guys, great picks. I'm going to get out of here. I got to go back to a real job. Thank you.
Yeah, the job is going to be pushing the button that says finish on this broadcast. Because we lost our producer. All right, that's it. So listen, tonight's going to be a good night. COVID-free environment that we're going to be hanging out in. But let's just see what happens tomorrow. A lot of good games.
Well, I enjoy doing this show with you, Tommy, and I think that all of us, like when I watch, even last night I was watching Louisiana Tech, North Texas. My wife is a North Texas.
All right.
And I was watching that Mean Green, and I was watching that game, and I was just like, I'm grateful that football's on, and I hope we can. It seems like we're hanging by a thread, as I said. Hopefully, we can finish the season. I heard the NHL is starting up in mid-January with a 59 game schedule instead of an 80 game schedule. Not going to do a bubble, but I've heard that they're going to do some divisions. One's going to be an all-Canadian league, and the American teams, a number of them I've heard are going to go to an play outdoors, which I think is really interesting.
It's only going to be for how long? I mean, till the snow melts, till the ice melts. Yep. I mean, remember all those games that like the Blackhawks used to play, those outdoor
Winter
games,
classics.
Awesome. A lot of fun.
So everyone's scrambling to make use of it, but I just wanted to reflect a minute of like, we're so grateful that we're able to watch these sports. And there was talk early on that they should just cancel the football season. And I have friends who really still think that they should have, that this is just the product so inferior and all these problems.
Right.
I'm grateful that they went on. I'm grateful that they're trying to do it. And
it's still going to be an asterisk.
Still, yeah, exactly.
Still going to be an asterisk. No matter who wins the national title, no matter who wins the Super Bowl, there have been canceled games. There have been things that have, just like that Steeler game on a Wednesday.
Did you turn that thing on?
Yeah, I watched it.
I was in my office and I turned it on, and it just, I don't know what it was. Like, it really was this surreal feeling. Like, why is NFL football on at 3:00 on a Wednesday?
Crazy.
And I just had a moment where I was like, I had, sometimes you have these moments in life where like, I want to stop and reflect on like how weird this is,
right?
How things have changed. And it's interesting because usually what would we be watching now pretty soon? These weird bowl games, right? These bowl games, the Bahamas Bowl on a Thursday
and a lot
afternoon.
of those aren't going to happen.
And that's exactly it. I was thinking like, we're not going to have, I don't
Nobody's
know.
traveling to the Bahamas to watch a football game. Nobody's, I mean, there are a lot of games.
I will.
He's wanting a bowl game down in Key Largo. That'd be awesome. But seriously, like nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to, they're not traveling now, and that sucks. And I hope that changes soon. We got to get a vaccine, and people got to take it, and trust it. So I'm going to wait till George W. takes it. When he does it live on TV, then I'm good to go.
I love it when they do it live on TV and they don't turn into a monkey.
How do you even know what he's injecting? That could be sugar water.
They call it,
right.
They turn into zombies.
Right. You got to wait like 24 hours. Then you put them on screen again. Who knows?
For the record, I have friends who have been on that trial and they did not turn into zombies.
They're still okay?
They're still okay. They seem okay. I'll put it that way.
All right. Perfect.
Well, all right. Well,
that's
everyone.
That's a wrap.
Tommy, thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for all you do. We love you, Tommy. And I'm glad you lived to see another year.
Yeah, another 50. That's what we're waiting on that one. All right, kill.